Becoming a YouTuber is hard. Even if you isolate any part of the workflow, scripting, editing, recording, it's still extremely time consuming. So how do you become a YouTuber while you have full-time responsibilities? Is it even possible? Well, I'm here to tell you it's definitely possible, and this is how you do it. I'll be sharing with you my most optimized workflow that I used when I was working full-time that grew my first commentary channel to 75k subs that I still use to this day, as well as how to juggle full-time responsibilities and becoming a YouTuber at the same time, and finally, what are the only 3 skills that you need to focus on to become a full-time YouTuber? Let's start with the latter. What are the most important skills to focus on? In every YouTube video to be made, there's always tiny little details that are calling for your attention. However, I'd say completely disregard that. These are the only 3 things that you need to know about. Number 1 is coming up with great video ideas. The more I explore the platform, the more I realize that it's the concept that allows videos to perform extraordinarily well. Even if they have crappy thumbnails and titles, if the concept is amazing, people are willing to forego that to be able to find that piece of information out that the video topic is. So you have to be able to come up with great video ideas. The second most important thing is thumbnails and titles. This is extremely important because this is how you get viewers onto your videos. If they're scrolling past and they're not even bothering to open the video, then in that case, what was the point? You just wasted like 2 weeks, a month of your time trying to produce a video, except they didn't even see any of it whatsoever. So it's most important that you make good titles and thumbnails to do it justice so people are at least even interested in your videos. The third skill to develop is the ability to make such good content that people can't help but watch. And the main way to be able to do that is storytelling. Good storytelling is the cheat codes to be able to hack anyone's brain. If you want to entertain, stories. You want to inspire, stories. Change beliefs and behaviors, you guessed it, stories. So those are the only 3 skills that I would ever focus on. This is based off the 3 metrics that YouTube cares about: click-through rate, watch time, and viewer satisfaction. If you hit these 3 metrics that YouTube care about while growing your skills, then your channel will be unstoppable. So the aim is to grow these 3 skills as you're working full time, which flows nicely onto my next point. How do you actually improve really quickly? I see a lot of people talk about this, but rarely do they actually do it. And if they were to do it consistently, their growth would just skyrocket like 10x, 20x, 100x. But in fears of looking stupid, they rarely do it. And what to do is this: to ask for feedback as quick as you can from people that you can reliably trust. No matter which part of the process you do, the quicker the feedback, the better. Finished an intro? Share it with someone, get them to review it. Made half a thumbnail? Ask for feedback on composition, how it looks roughly, what the concept could be, what you can do to show the concept better. And it's important to get feedback from people that you reliably know what they're talking about and can trust. I wouldn't be going to someone like a swimmer to be able to ask them how to cook. Here's the handful of people that I consistently go to. Friends or family that either 1, watch YouTube consistently, or 2, are into content creation themselves. I have a Discord of mates where we just send random things to each other for feedback and critiquing. Thumbnails, titles, how to make a better rice recipe, how to get fuller looking biceps, anything really. The next suggestion would be any other communities, and that includes your viewers. Upload something and see what people say. The third suggestion, if you're possible of affording it, is to be able to get a coach that actually looks over what you're doing. Much more expensive and less attainable, I know, but I should still present the option. And the last person to get feedback from that's really overlooked is yourself. Only you know what you're trying to create and you know how it looks in your mind. Develop a taste of what you actually want to create. A tip that I've realized is that you shouldn't be looking at things straight away if you want to provide your own feedback to it. Leave it for a couple of days and come back to it, and you can see it with a fresh set of eyes. That way you've given yourself enough time and space to be able to identify with fresh eyes exactly what's wrong with it. And from there, most of the time you're able to pick up and continue to brush up on it and make it better. Now that you're aware of improving on the most important areas and you're doing it at a quicker rate with knowing exactly what to improve on, now comes the time where you should be looking at managing your time and energy. It took me weeks to dial in this routine, even though it's so deceptively simple, because I was in denial with myself that there's a better way to do this. However, after trying all the different methods of trying to pull in time, trying to force myself to work even when I didn't, using any productivity hack like the 2-minute rule, forcing myself to watch motivational videos to G myself up, or just stressfully procrastinating, the most beneficial thing that I did that I adopted into my workflow is, ready? Get this. I woke up an hour earlier. Okay, this might sound like a cop-out answer, just don't click off yet, let me explain. I worked first thing in the morning when I woke up before I had any other responsibilities. When you do it first thing in the morning, you're telling yourself that this is a priority. It's the time that your mind is most clear, fresh, and capable of learning. Yeah, sure, I could force myself to get work done at the end of the day, but that means stacking on all the additional burdens that I carried throughout the day. Fatigue, emotional damage, dealing with other people's emotional crap. And that's what I used to do, except it carried over and it really showed in the quality of my work. So when do you have the most amount of energy? The opposite of that, at the start of the day, where you're fresh and bright and you're capable of achieving creative work. It is one of the most draining things that you can do because for the rest of the day, you're also feeling much more fatigued than normal. However, it's also the most rewarding thing because you spent the initial hour of the day working for yourself and doing something that you're proud of. What I've come to realize is when I work outside of any of the parts that's at the beginning of the day, I'm just going through the motions and it's more about output. This process of waking up an hour earlier is also better organizationally because you don't have to change anything about your current routines. There's no haphazard trying to squeeze in tasks wherever you can throughout the day or slotting it in at the end of the day where it's actually something that you begin to not look forward to. When I started doing this, I found myself thinking, even if the day went sideways, I was completely fine with it because I had completed something that was important to me at the start of the day, which left me fulfilled no matter what happened. However, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. I'd have to get up at 5 AM and sometimes it would feel like my eyes were bleeding out. This is all supposed to be intentional and painful. It's like going to the gym for your brain, and you're working to develop new skills that you didn't have before. The point of an hour is that it's attainable and you can continue to do it consistently. That's the main aim of this. And if it's still too much, that's perfectly fine. If you can do a quality half an hour or even 15 minutes, that definitely beats an hour of beating around the bush when you're tired and fatigued at the end of the day. And the thing is, you just continue to do this every single day. You just pick up where you left off the previous day. The main gem of a tip that I would give away, what I think is a really important tip about this is that the work is the time output. It's not about what you achieve. This mindset shift makes it much easier to turn up day after day just to continue working on this little side project of yours. And it doesn't matter, there's no pressure to continue producing at a high output. Your job in this time is to explore and create. Even if you weren't able to completely finish a task, for example, a thumbnail in an hour, but you were able to learn about how to manipulate opacities to make it a much more interesting thumbnail, then that's a massive win that you can continuously take down to future projects and can apply to different other areas of the editing process. So the point is to consistently rock up for the same amount of time every single day, no matter what, with intentionality and the willingness to learn. Over time, this will compound, and sure, it might take a lot longer, but it's much more sustainable and the process of creating is just going to be much more fun. So all that was information and experience that took me 2 years to learn. If you're confused or want me to elaborate about anything else, let me know in the comments and I'll try my best to make it a future video. If you're interested in a free consultation session, there's a form in the description if you want to hop on a call with me for half an hour and just talk about YouTube. As always, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in another episode.